Welcome back to the Listen Up podcast, where we analyze a new album each week. I'm Jamie, and this week we've got me, Nick, and Jordan. This week we're going to be taking a look at Sam's Town by The Killers, released in 2006, and it was picked by me, Jamie. I picked this one for us this week because, I don't know, recently I guess not this week, but last week when I chose this, I'd been listening to The Killers, their first two albums for some reason. Mm-hmm. Don't know why. Vic asked if I was sad, and I said I don't think so. But yeah, and so it was kind of a toss-up between Hot Fuss and this album for me. Uh-huh. But while I do really enjoy Hot Fuss, there's a lot more to it than Mr. Brightside.
True.
I don't know. I felt like this one would be a more interesting one to take a full-on look at, because it kind of has the encapsulated stories about the human experience.
True.
Both in and out of growing up, specifically growing up in a small town, but I think you can extrapolate most of the thematic elements to the larger capital L life that we all have. What was you guys' familiarity with the artist?
Oh, you mean other than none of them no familiarity that I had?
None at all? Not even like When You Were Young or Read My Mind?
You know Mr. Brightside.
I don't think so. I don't really listen to this genre of music. Like, I don't...
Well, right, but those were like the two that were like everywhere.
Jamie, you've said that so many times.
That's true.
Gonna lie.
And it's even crazier because
I think it's just the radio stations.
Yeah. The crazier thing, though, to me is like the time when it was everywhere was the most likely time when you would have heard it on like any radio station that remotely played rock kind of music was playing this stuff.
Yeah, I never listened to a radio station that played rock though.
Like,
I listened to the ones that were.
If it wasn't Uncle Cracker or Daughtry, he doesn't know it.
Yeah, but like but if you were listening to a radio station that played them, a lot of their stuff is also kind of rock.
You're telling me Katy Perry is rock? You're telling me Halsey is rock, bro? You're telling me?
Well, that was like a decade after this.
Did you hear Halsey?
Oh, I didn't even. I don't think I even listened to the radio. I think at the very end. The end of my listening.
Like her early.
She's got that song that I do like without me, without you. Which one is it?
I don't know.
Wait, is Halsey the one with Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like, they were like on again, off again, or some shit.
She did a G-Eazy.
Out of my mind, if you only
G-Eazy. You're right. My bad.
How dare you confuse G-Eazy?
Oh wait, no, that's Camellia. No. Wait, what's that one G-Eazy song with Halsey?
I have no idea.
Jeezy.
Yeah, it's probably Jeezy.
Didn't he get like arrested because he had coke at an airport or something?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it was.
Listening to that's like if someone told me they were like, my favorite artist is the Chainsmokers, I'd be like, what?
Okay, really? So how much other music?
So they got some decent. They got some decent stuff, but. It's fun, dude. Wesley from high school, though, he was a big fan. He was a big Chainsmokers fan, which also is crazy. Like, Wesley's was the biggest Chris Stapleton fan I knew, and the biggest Chainsmokers fan I knew.
What a
duality of man. Yeah, right. Yeah. So I guess back to this. So Jordan, going in blind, or I guess Nick, you were familiar with them, right?
Yeah, I was really only familiar with their. I knew When You Were Young. Read My Mind. For Reasons Unknown. I knew like a lot of the words to that, and I forget like where I first heard it. Yeah. I vaguely remember like finding that song when I was first introduced to the Killers, like when we went to the fridge when we were younger.
Yeah.
Because I remember the sequence was like hearing the big hits off of Hot Fuss, and then I heard When You Were Young and like a few songs off Sam's Town, and I kind of latched on to For Reasons Unknown, but I like completely forgot about it until I revisited it this week. And
that's funny.
Yeah.
I that's definitely one of the ones I don't think of as much. Like I wouldn't have guessed that would have been one of the ones you knew if I guessed like 5. I probably wouldn't have guessed that one.
Yeah. And I knew a couple of songs off their second newest album, Wonderful Wonderful. I know that's the first song on the album.
Yeah, that's the name
of it. Yeah. But and
I don't know any of that album. I listened to it and I was like, this is weird.
Yeah.
And I never went back to it.
And then I know a fair amount of songs off their newest album. I actually liked it like a lot. I was surprised. Imploding the Mirage.
It was pretty good. Yeah. It reminded me of some of it was very like Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers adjacent kind of music to me.
Yeah.
I think there was one song that I told you and my dad about that I was like, this reminds me so much of Tom Petty.
Mm-hmm. It was the first or second. It was the first or second lead single on the album, Caution.
Mm-hmm.
It has a guitar solo from Lindsey Buckingham, like one of the main guitar players of Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
Very, very intricate fingerstyle player.
Oh, really?
Lindsey Buckingham on some songs. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried to learn, I think, Landslide, like way back when. I never did. Plot twist. I was like, holy shit.
Is it really hard?
Doesn't sound this complicated. Well, it's just like, I'm not someone who plays like really intricate fingerstyle stuff. And so
yeah.
It's not hard as it is just complex and having to train your hand like how to do what you want when you want it to.
Mm-hmm.
Which is how you play an instrument. So I don't know what I am saying. But yeah, so Jordan, what'd you think about coming into this album raw? How do you like it?
Well, I was gonna say, Landslide. Is that the title of it?
By Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the one that goes like,
landslide
lately taken down to the landslide, going away to the dark?
That's actually really close.
Oh, okay, cool.
But they were released like, I would guess like 40 years apart.
Yeah, probably
30 to 40 years apart.
Wait, Jamie, what was the question? I was too busy trying to make that joke that I didn't actually know what you said.
You're trying to figure out how to shoehorn it in. I was just going to ask what you thought of the album, coming in raw.
Well, it was decent, but again, it had some of that, what's it called? Like kind of sounding the same-ish. Oh, okay, guitar. Yeah, I guess that is also what it is. But it had some of that sounding the same-ish vibes to it, you know?
I can see that. There's definitely, like, most of it is the same instrumentation throughout. It's just the differences in, like, the specific rhythms and riffs and stuff.
Yeah, I think I liked his voice decently well, honestly.
Brendan Flowers?
Yeah. But, other than that, I don't know.
I was interested to find out that Brandon Flowers isn't, like, a stage name. His
no, that's his name.
Actual last name is Flowers, which I was like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's his name. He also he met his wife before he ever got his first gig starting a band. So, he said in an interview that made it like way easier because he didn't have to worry about her trying to like get to him for fame or anything. She met him when he was like a struggling musician. They met at a record store.
Oh wow!
And their
Nick's
first
a dream, dude.
Yeah, their first few dates were like they would go through and
which
quiz each other on like if they knew whatever records they liked as they like look through the bins and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Nick said which record? That's hilarious.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I feel like in that case you would probably like Hot Fuss more, just because there's. Like this one, the interesting part of it is more in like the storytelling of it, but in Hot Fuss, like every song is pretty different as far as how it sounds. Like there's always some synth, there's always some rock, and there's always Brendan singing. But it's a lot. The songs are more discreet. They're not as like similar. I feel like.
Interesting.
I'd kind of agree with that. Like,
Mhm.
for both albums, the instrumentation stays pretty specific, but maybe on Hot Fuss, it's a little. The emotions of the songs
How it's
are varied
used
a
is
little
very
more.
different.
Yeah. The first time I had ever listened all the way through Hot Fuss was earlier today. So.
Mhm. I like it. I like that
okay.
one a lot. I really. It's a very controversial album.
Really?
People love it or hate it. Yeah, but I really enjoy it. I also really like the album cover. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite album covers. That like blue, like soft blues within like the pink lettering. I just everything about it. I'm like, this is awesome
Mhm.
from a design perspective.
I didn't know that their logo was taken from an old Elvis album logo. Like Elvis's name
Yeah, I
was
learned
just
that.
stylized with the little dots, just like the Killers' logo is
Yeah,
stylized
like the
that way.
show, like a stage lights or
Yeah.
like the
Like an
the
assortment of
display
bulbs,
signs
pretty
outside
much.
of theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. Which is like it's
yeah.
cool.
I think I read that in like the Wikipedia or something.
Yeah, they're so like they do so much homage to Las Vegas in their work, like because Elvis was like a huge Vegas singer in his later years, and in Sam's
Right.
Town is like Sam's Town and Casino is like a casino in Las Vegas that they named like the album after.
Yeah, which is funny because this focuses, I would say, more on seemingly the life that he lived. Like, so Brandon was born in LV. I almost said LA. He was born in Las Vegas, but then grew up in like a smaller outside
V.
Las Vegas town.
Okay.
And I would say that that's where a lot of this
Ooh,
feels,
time.
down to like the album cover being a double wide. And a goat?
It's the state animal of Nevada.
Oh, okay. I never understood why because all of the singles for this too, most of them feature a goat in some capacity, like Bones. But Read My Mind had the model and singer who was on the album cover.
Mm-hmm.
She was on the cover for Read My Mind, and then Bones had a goat with like a veil on or something.
Yeah, from what I could gather, it seemed like they had a very unique start as a band where most bands have to grind for years and years to get a record deal and like have some semblance of popularity. And like the first song that Brandon and the guitarist who founded the band originally, I think before they ever put out an album, they rotated a few bassists and drummers like playing gigs, but like in the beginning whenever they released Hot Fuss, their debut album, they had like their set band lineup that they've had for pretty much their whole existence until like a few of them like kind of dropped out like tentatively like later in their careers now. But like when they released Hot Fuss, Mr. Brightside, that was the first song that they ever wrote, and it was just like an enormous hit. And like,
I would say that it still is an enormous hit.
Yeah, like
it's crazy how relevant that song has been since 2002 or 3 or whenever Hot Fuzz came out.
Yeah, it that was huge, and Somebody Told Me is really big, and like I know Smile Like You Mean It and All These Things That I've Done, they're like relatively big off that album, but
yeah,
they like
I feel like so many people know I Got Soul, but I'm not a soldier.
And they blew up in England, and they were like a huge British rock band, and then they wanted to try and highlight their American roots with like the whole Sam's Town imagery of this album.
Yeah, which you can kind of get that. Like, this is a very like growing up in an American town.
Yeah, and in a lot of I watched a bunch of music videos that they did for this album, for Bones, for When You Were Young, for Read My Mind. Like they're always, they look like old timey Americans. I was gonna say they're wearing tuxedos is the wrong thing. They're wearing like old timey suits that have like puffy undershirts and stuff, and they look like just old timey Americans.
Interesting. I haven't really.
It's interesting. Old timey Southwest energy or imagery, not energy.
Yeah.
I guess.
But yeah, man. I really like this album, and I figured, what? I thought that I knew that I liked this album, and I definitely thought that I would get more out of it, like taking a harder look at it for this, and I did. I now have an even more nothing like earth-shattering changed about this album for me, but it more just solidified the hunches I already had about the album. But yeah, I really like the sound that they bring. The Killers have a very distinct sound, and it's very modern synth rock. To the point where I'll hear other stuff, I'm like, oh, this sounds very like Killersy. I don't listen to them and think, oh, this sounds whatever. I mean, there's a little bit where you're like, yeah, kind of Bowie a little bit in some ways, but I definitely they have a very distinct sound in my mind, and I also I just like all the stuff brought up in this album, like mortality and aging, or trying like what it's like to try to help someone who doesn't want help and they just want to live in their own despair, addiction, change, like teenage depression, or like just like other issues riding beneath the surface of what it seems like the outer causes are, like teenage unrest and just like desire for, you know, betterment at whatever costs. And then also like nostalgia and stuff. It's pretty cool. I think it's pretty well done.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I guess starting to get into it more, I from the very first song, like I really enjoy Sam's Town as a song. I like the rhythm of the verses, especially the parts specifically like he says something about remembering Grandma Dixie's wake. I'd never seen anyone die, or I'd never known anyone who died before. And then the thing about my brother was born on the 4th of July, I really like the rhythm of that section in particular. Yeah. And then there's also the cool, like, halftime breakdown group sing-along thing that is, like, the I See London, I See Sam's Town section. I really enjoy that every time too.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that song too, and I was surprised I had never listened to it. But I was surprised I'd never checked out the Killers really as a whole band until this week with this album. Like today, I didn't listen to Sawdust because I looked at the amount of time like I had left before the podcast, and I realized like, oh, I could probably listen to every Killers album today if I wanted to. And I'm not really like doing anything that I need to concentrate super hard on. So I did that, and I listened to every Killers album.
I'm just doing brain surgery.
Yeah. And but there sounds like you can definitely hear it evolve like you can with most bands. But it's pretty consistent for their first 2 or 3 albums with like with some variation. But Sam's Town, that was it's a great intro. Like I was gonna say a highlight of the record. I'd say so. I enjoyed a lot the chorus with "Why do you waste my time?" is the answer to the question on your mind. Like lines like that kind of like that wrap around to the next line or like string your thoughts and like your understanding of the lines to the next line and then kind of like flip it on its head. That's always something that grabs my attention. It's just clever writing that makes you think like, oh, like he was going somewhere else with that than I thought he was.
Yeah, it's like how we learned in our English, me and Nate, not you, Jordan. You didn't have our teacher, but in our like
I didn't have the same teacher as you guys
class, we learned about. You know, one thing the thing he tried to hammer home to us about writing is like you want to be able to take your instead of your listener kind of jumping from place to place in your paper, you kind of want it to be like a ski slope, like you're guiding them down. And Yeah, this is definitely that kind of like fluid storytelling, but still, making points to be like, hey, did you catch that in that line? And think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like his writing is just really good.
Mhm.
I didn't look at the songwriting credits, but I'm pretty sure doesn't Brandon write most, if not all, of their
I know
or
it was for
co-write
the
at least.
it was for the he co-wrote everything, and it was for the first 2 or 3 songs. He was the sole credited writer.
Yeah. Well, dude, and When You Were Young. So I think that might be the first Killer song I remember hearing because it was on Rock Band 1.
Oh yeah.
I think.
That's hilarious.
But dude, I love that song. I love it so
Me
much.
too.
It's such a good song. It's probably my like top 3 on this album. But it like the guitar is awesome. I really like the lyricism of it. And then there's like that huge, it's just got a great solo in it. And there's also the bass line and synth just makes such a good backdrop in the verse and the choruses of it. And I just always enjoy the where it switches over to the bridge is really good.
Mm-hmm.
They say the devil's water, it ain't so sweet. You don't have to drink right now, but you can dip your feet every once and a little while.
And then I also really enjoy the part talking about like riding on the back of a hurricane.
Watch it go, we're burning down the highway skyline on the back of a hurricane that started turning when you were young.
That part, I don't know why, I just have always enjoyed that.
Yeah, that's the second verse where they replace
Yeah,
like the line that always grabbed my attention when I was younger was he doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he talks like a gentleman.
Save you from your old ways. You play forgiveness, watch it now, here he comes. He doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he talks like a gentleman, like you imagined when you were young.
Like that there's
Interesting.
something strong or like it. I feel like you have to know that you're invoking some kind of emphasis whenever you say like I guess anything about like Jesus in a normal song. At least to me, like when you're not saying like oh
Yeah.
Jesus or Jesus Christ, like when you're comparing something to Jesus, people are going to naturally analyze that and like
right.
it's like it's a clever way of saying like he doesn't look a thing like Jesus, but he talks like a gentleman. Like he's not really the exact image of the perfect guy that you thought you were going to get, but he's
But he talks
like-
nice to you.
yeah. Uh-huh.
Come and climb this mountain. I don't know.
What a song.
And
And then,
before I...
And like I watched a couple of interviews with him and the drummer today, and in one of them they were talking about how they still close like pretty much every set that they play with that song. And I watched one of the closings from they have a live album, and it was like the last song at the concert that they recorded the live album at, and it was really cool. It just made me like miss even more not being able to go to concerts now that I have disposable income.
Dude, right?
As soon as concerts are over, I never even got to go to concerts that much, which is why I wanted to go so badly.
I was so ready for Bonnaroo again. I was so hyped for that. And now the Peach Pit concert's off.
Mm-hmm.
So sad.
I want to hear a Blueface concert.
It's strange how much I tell people that I like love live music, and I've only been to really like 4 concerts, but they were all just like such.
Those concerts had an even bigger impact on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah,
they were such
exactly.
like spiritual experiences, basically. Like in
Dude, that St. Paul one, I swear that was literally like a spiritual experience. That
Yeah.
shit was crazy.
Mm-hmm. In 3 of the 4 of them, I was
guys
like,
did like that shit.
what, like 10 feet from the stage, 10, 20 feet. Like it was just
Yeah.
those concerts. If you can find an independent musician that has a concert at a smaller venue and you really connect with a lot of
Do
their
it.
music, there's just like nothing like that experience.
That's why I was so ready for Peach Pit.
Yeah.
Peach Pit.
F's in the chat. But so I guess back to this little indie band, little indie artist.
Yeah.
Little tiny killers.
I always Bling is one of those songs where whenever it starts, I want to skip it in the first 5 seconds.
When I offer you survival, you say it's hard enough to live. It's not so bad. It's not so bad. How do you know that you're right?
Because I forget how much I enjoy like the chugging rhythm of the verses. I really dig that.
In the land of the free ride, I can't pull it any longer. The sun is beating down my neck, so I ran with the devil.
How it's just like a constant, I don't know, it feels like there's progression moving forward. And then I like the higher and higher sections. Later on in the song, but I always, every time I listen to this, I go, oh, do I like this one? And then I'm like, oh yeah, I do. I just really don't like how they start the song.
That's funny. I think it's like the one song on the album that I can't like start in my head, or that I can't really think of a part of in my head. Like after
It's the
listening
part
to
that
it,
goes higher and higher. We're
Yeah,
gonna take it. Yeah,
I just played
I
it
like
again,
that.
like to myself, but it was like I don't mind it. It's not like one of the highlights on the album for me, but it's good.
Yeah.
I let it play through.
yeah. I definitely wouldn't put it like, up there. But I do like that section. I liked it enough to where I wrote it down.
Mm-hmm. I think the only song I really didn't like that much on the like whole album was Uncle Johnny. I wasn't a
Really?
huge fan.
Why?
You say why?
See, I do like that one.
I something about the tone of it, or I honestly didn't even look into the lyrics a whole lot, just because I didn't
It's
like
just
the sound
about-
of the song so much. But it's about like his uncle who's addicted to drugs, right?
Or like,
Cocaine
it's
specifically.
some character who is like addicted to coke.
Okay.
And just talks about addiction. But it's written really interesting, where he says, "What you say, Johnny?" And then that's the end of the chorus, and then like the verses are Johnny talking, not like the narrator. And I didn't realize that until I was looking at the lyrics on Genius. I was like, oh, that's an interesting like writing structure.
Interesting.
I like that song. I don't know. I really enjoy how like power, like just emotive the like guitar riff in it is.
When everybody else refrained, my Uncle Johnny did cocaine.
and then how that goes throughout the whole thing. I kind of like the like anger of the guitar in the background.
Yeah,
Johnny Big.
I don't know.
Sorry.
I might like it more listening to it now. I feel like I have a greater appreciation for their music after listening to a couple of interviews with Brandon, and the drummer's name's Ronnie. Yeah. And like listening to more of their music overall, I might just have a better appreciation for it. But the first few times I listened to it, like I listened to it like through it 2 or 3 times, and I was like, this isn't me. It's
I
a
got
skip.
you.
But
I don't know. I've always fucked with the Killers.
Well, it was just that song. The song right after it. It doesn't help. It doesn't help that Bones was right after it, because Bones is probably one of my favorite songs. Either? No. It doesn't help.
He does like
the opposite of that. The opposite. I got you.
Like I just want to skip
like
Uncle
how we've
Johnny
talked
because
in the
Bones
past
is coming.
Like that's the danger of a really good song on an album, is it makes the first one that much worse because you just waited for the next one to start. Yeah. I don't know. See, For Reasons Unknown, I like that song a decent amount, but really the main thing that sticks out to me about it is just like the chorus about like my heart, it don't beat like it used to. That section. That's like the main one that sticks out to me. I enjoy listening to the song. Like it's not a oh, let me skip it to me. But it's when I think of like the songs I really like on this one, it's never one that comes to mind.
Yeah.
Kind of like I think My List is the same way for me as well. But I think my dad likes My List a lot. I think that's one of the I was playing this when I went home the other weekend and saw them, and I think he was saying that was one he likes a lot, and I was like, huh. Interesting.
It grew on me a lot.
He also likes Bones a lot.
Yeah. The music video for Bones is just hilarious. It God, they have these weird looking, like just bad, like early, well, it's not early 2000s, it's like 2006, 2007 CGI, which still isn't like anything compared to new CGI. But
oh god, is it like the Creed CGI videos?
It's not that bad. No. Oh, they're so bad.
Those are horrible.
No, they're not that bad. But it's
sheesh.
Like it's just like skeleton people, like skeletons dancing and like playing music and skeletons kissing and stuff.
What the hell?
It's just funny looking.
I gotta check that out.
Yeah, it and the upbeat kind of like silly nature of the chorus just adds to it. Like. Feel my bones on your bones. Yeah. It's just a strange thing to say. And then you see...
Right?
Yeah. You see skeletons like making out on the beach while that's playing.
Yeah. The horns in Bones is really good. Like the horn section that they bring into it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot in that one. My favorite thing about Bones is, one, I just like how synth rock it is. I think it might be the most just unapologetically synth rock on this album. And then the rhythm at the end of the verses, like the last lines of the verses, how he does the weird like slow down like super enunciation.
The thunder speaks for the sky, and on the cold wet dirt I cry. And on the cold wet dirt I cry. Don't you wanna come with me?
Before the choruses start, every time I hear that, I'm like, oh, that sounds so cool. Because it's just that dynamicness to it.
Yeah. It sounds super synthy, Jamie. That's what I was gonna say too.
It is. It's so like we have a synthesizer and we have a guitar.
Yeah. It's like you can hear just like the meshing of like everything too.
Which I don't think of myself as a person who loves synth. But more and more, I think I just
Kanye's albums.
am just liking it more and more. Like, I'm now at a point where I love listening to like 80s synth rock. I don't know why. I vibe with it. The Warzone, they've got you can now have like war tracks, which are just songs that come on whenever you get in like vehicles, and they keep coming out because of Cold War being set in the 80s. They've got like 80s hits, 80s rock hits, 80s pop hits, and I love that shit, bro. I'll get in a car to go like 10 feet just to hope that like Shout comes on, or like Cherry Pie and shit like that.
You're like, shout.
We were playing the other night, and I got in a car, and Take On Me started playing, and I was like, weird. You made some comment about possibly me not getting to you in time. I was going to get Loadout, and the zone was closing in on it, and I was like, Take On Me's playing, man. The car's zooming now.
Dude, it makes you faster. It's like racing stripes. It adds horsepower, bro.
It does.
The 80s rock, it adds coke power to your car, so you go a little bit faster. But Read My Mind, I think, is my favorite track on the record.
Yeah,
I think it's one of my favorite Killer songs. I think of, I just love it so much. The two choruses are great. I really like the bridge to it though, where it's like oh god, I just burped and it kind of burned from the chicken sausage I ate earlier. But the bridge of it I really like, where he's like open the door, don't let it sting, I want to breathe that fire again, and then it like goes into the chorus again. Every time I really like that. But also I like, so this is one of the songs, and they do this in a lot of their stuff, where there'll still be the general structure of the verses and chorus and stuff like that, but they'll change the lines. So the rhythm sounds the same and the guitar sounds the same. And if you don't pay attention to the words, and your brain won't register that it's different. But in this one, like, it's a kind of thing where they are different. In fact, like the lyrics are different. And I really like the second chorus, where it talks about like the teenage queen, a loaded gun, drop dead dream, the chosen one, talking about like, you know, the side of being the popular perfect person in high school, but still like the human side of dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts. You know, a southern drawl, a world unseen. That song, it kind of what it touches on is the fact that there, like I was talking about earlier, like the dark underside of things that seem you know, nice and polished on the surface, but they're still you know, that second side of things. Yeah. The upside down, if you will. Yeah, and I really just
Jamie's fresh off his
Stranger
Things rewatch.
I just listened to. Huh?
I said you're fresh off your Stranger Things rewatch. You had to reference the upside down.
Fresh on it.
Wait, did you actually just?
Months. It was like 2 or 3 months ago. Okay. Yeah, me and Vic went through and watched all 3 seasons again. Still holds up.
It was good, wasn't it?
I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, but Read My Mind, I think it might be, I don't know, it might be my favorite Killer song. I'm not sure. But anytime it comes on, I just go, this is nice. I enjoy this.
In one of the interviews I watched today, Brandon said, or the interviewer asked him why he has said in the past that it's continually stayed his favorite Killer song. So you could be lining up right up there with the front man, Jamie.
Oh hell yeah, we on that connection.
Yeah, you and you and Brandon are on the wavelength.
We got that modus ponens.
Man, what? Don't talk about discrete math on the podcast.
Bro, I'm having that. What a shitter, dude. Shitter lab. This River is Wild. I also really enjoy.
There's a part in I think
lot.
it's in the second verse where he kind of like does a little ad lib at the beginning of the lines, and he goes, "I'm gonna shake a little."
Run for the hills before they burn. Listen to the sound of the world. Don't watch it turn, but shake a little. Sometimes I'm nervous when I talk, or shake a little. Sometimes I hate the line I walk.
I always
Yeah.
love that little part. It's so funny.
That one's really good. I like because he says I'm gonna shake a little, and then I can't remember what the like what he says after that, but I didn't write it down. But I also like those lines. That one I it's a very interesting structure in the writing of it because it's all different. Like, not even just the choruses are kind of redone. The rhythm stays the same, but there's not like a real, apart from talking about this river is wild. And what's he say? Godspeed,
you boy.
Yeah, he says that, but it's like a continuous narrated throughout from like start to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of being a circle racetrack, it's a sprint from A to B. Or you Need for Speed and or Forza.
Instead of a circuit, it's a sprint.
What? Circuit. That's what it's called. You're right. I was drawing. The listener can't see, but I was drawing a circle with my hand, and I couldn't remember what that.
I watched my brother play countless, endless amounts of hours of so many Need for Speed games growing up. So I am familiar.
Sammy's a big car guy.
True.
Car guy Sammy.
My brother is a car guy.
Sammy
Car
the car
Gooey
man.
Sammy.
Car guy Sammy.
Get him on the podcast again. This is Car Talk on Listen Up.
But I also like
This is Car Talk.
This River is Wild. It's kind of that's the one that's like I like the narrative, how it's about, you know, kind of growing up in a small town and just like yearning for not even bigger, but just knowing that there's something better and wanting to do that at all costs, like stepping into the wild river of life. But then the outro of it wrestles with, even though no matter how much you have that desire growing up in a smaller town and wanting something different, no matter how you feel, there's still that like nostalgic lamenting part of you that kind of doesn't, when you look back, you still don't want to leave what's comfortable, and like the nostalgia of when you look back at things and you kind of, it's not regret. I think lament is a better word there, but it's kind of looking at, though there is this big passion, there's still the other side of it where you kind of, it makes you want to hold on a little bit longer when presented with the chance to move on. And, you know, even if you leave, then there still is going to be those, it's not quite rose-colored glasses, but it's like the nostalgia thing where you go, you know, it was still nice. You know, it was still good.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that. I like that it talks about both sides of that coin. Because I think that, at least for me, that's definitely something that I had growing up, you know, in small Yadkin County. It was like, I want to do something better, but then there are still parts of it to where when I look back, I'm like, yeah, that was pretty chill. That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely get what you're saying. That's like me. That's kind of the feeling I get every time I listen to Back Down South by Kings of Leon. I don't even know if they have slide guitar in it, but there's slide-ish guitar. It's just like a droney guitar chord that they play. That's like the signature part of the song.
Yeah.
And that the country elements added in just reinforce like the all the Saturdays where I would hear the CMT Top 20 countdown on my TV, just chilling
Right.
in my house with my family. Just
CMT, bro.
what a time to be alive. Yeah, I could probably
That's
I
hilarious.
probably have like all the words to all of Carrie Underwood's like biggest hits just locked in a vault in
Yo.
my brain. And I
You and Zach, man. Every Saturday I stayed at either of y'all's place. It was the CMT, the top 40 countdown
yes sir.
was on.
That's hilarious.
You sleep in the basement, you get up, you smell the pancakes, you walk upstairs, you and the boys chilling at the dining room table. The parents come in with the pancakes on the plate, drop the maple syrup on the table.
y'all's like birthday
Y'all's.
sleepovers. No fucking joke. He's not
Immaculate.
lying. We would go up to their like dining room table, sit down, and then there would just be a feast of plates, multiple plates of stacks of pancakes and like sausage patties. I think one time there was sausage and bacon. They were both options.
Damn.
Yeah,
Ma- Marshall-
around in the suburbs.
Yeah, Marshall household goes hard on the breakfast.
Bro, when
House.
we had our house came with an in-ground pool from the guy who had owned it, built it himself. So there were all kinds of code issues with it, but it worked.
I didn't know that.
So that was my my birthday.
that was the
shtick
cool part of your
every
house.
year. Yeah, because I've got an August birthday, so it was, and now it's filled in. It's a sick ass garden.
Damn.
It's pretty
is really
cool,
cool.
dude.
Garden greater than pool. No, I don't know.
It is cool.
I mean,
Jordan,
once you get to a certain age, I'd say so.
yeah.
No, definitely.
You gotta-
I don't know. Pool would still be so nice. Maybe not like a. Actually, I don't know. Maybe not an above ground pool, but I feel like a pool would just be nice. You know.
It was nice, and it lived its
If you-
life
if
cycle.
you utilize it.
served best for me in my life, where it was like I had it all the way through high school, and then like it got a leak in it, and then it kind of wasn't great, and my parents were just having to dump money into the chemicals trying to keep off the algae because like the leak was so big that the chlorine levels would drop so much that it wouldn't. So then it just wasn't monetarily feasible. It was going to be so much more to upkeep it. My dad was like, no one uses it. It gets used 3 times a summer. We're going to fill it in with dirt, garden. And
True.
now I come back because we can drink garden parties.
Bro,
Bro,
ju-
it is
I
pretty
could-
white.
I could just I could see me in the summer chilling at your house, drinking a little wine with the Beamguard clan, just hanging
Absolutely,
out,
dude.
Eating some
My mom-
fresh picked
my mom
tomatoes,
has-
making some BLTs. Shoo.
Dude, that's like the one thing that I'm like, hopefully, I'm excited to move away and start a career, hopefully in Denver for the
Yeah.
first few years. But god damn, it would be so nice to just go chill at my parents' like garden, drinking wine, chilling. Say la vie.
I was also gonna say, I know I haven't been talking that much this time, but I was gonna say, where you really like the synth, Jamie.
Mhm.
I'm kind of not into this genre.
Really?
that
Not big
much.
on
like, I feel like I even prefer like rock more than this
Yeah.
like synth kind of rock. It's just, I don't know. Just the synth is really like boring to me, honestly.
I gotcha. I don't know. I feel like I probably am somewhere used to have that. I don't know. At some point it changed, but I definitely think that I probably had that. Like when I was younger, I wasn't as big into like the 80s synth rock. Whenever it would come on the radio, I'd be like, eh. But now I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm in for it.
I guess. No, I guess it is. You have that one band that like opens you up to like more of it. You
right.
know?
You just
Like,
have to hear it done well enough to where your brain goes, huh.
I distinctly remember hearing a rap song that I didn't like when I didn't like rap, and then once I liked rap, I went back and listened to that song and I liked it, and I was like, "What's going on here?"
Hold up.
I was so confused because I was like, "Didn't I not like this song?" Like,
Well, that's
sophomore
all,
year of
that's
high
all
school.
The, like, progression of taste and forming of a palate.
yeah, true.
Like when I was a kid, I didn't like hamburgers. Now I enjoy hamburgers.
Huh?
Bro, you still don't like sushi, so it's like, you know, what are we gonna do? You still don't like seafood, man, so it's like,
I told you I enjoyed the sushi.
what did you eat as a child, man? Like I don't know what you.
Dude, as a kid I was a bitch, man. I was like
Chicken nuggets.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
situationally. Like I've always
I was
enjoyed
gonna say chicken's
Mexican
the only
food,
thing.
or like
Okay.
Americanized Mexican food. And I've always enjoyed Italian food. Yeah, but I wasn't fucking with like, you know, calamari. I wasn't fucking with like the seafood
Understandable.
anywhere, ceviche, none of that.
No shrimp, bro.
Yeah,
You know,
I
you
didn't
don't
like shrimp. So anytime we went to a seafood place, I wouldn't even get popcorn shrimp. I'd be like, yo, any chicken tenders. I like. So I was
Just
a big
give me a
chicken tender
side
kid
salad.
whenever we went out, which I stand. Chicken tenders are very good.
They're great.
You know.
Yeah, they are, honestly.
If I go to a specialty place, I'll get whatever I'm there for. I won't get the chicken tenders. But at a place where chicken tenders are on the menu and it's not, you know, it's not weird to get them, I'll get chicken tenders. Outback, chicken tenders.
My brother likes the chicken tenders at Longhorn.
I haven't been to Longhorn in so long. I used to get a hot dog when I would go to Longhorn. I get the hot dogs as a kid. Their hot dog buns are crazy. They're
Hell
like
yeah.
loaves of bread.
Damn.
I think it's been so long since I went to Longhorn.
For the longest time, I loved the bread
been so
that
long.
Longhorn had.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like the brown bread.
Yeah, I was gonna say like wheat bread, but I like it's
Oh,
just some kind
yeah,
of
that
brown
bread
bread,
is-
with like the whipped butter. Shoo,
Yeah, I've never figured out what that is, but it goes dummy.
is wild.
Not as good as Texas Roadhouse yeast
True.
rolls with the honey butter,
With the butter,
but
Phew.
before the Texas Roadhouse got put in,
Oh.
that was definitely the go-to.
Or the biscuits at Red Lobster.
Best thing there. Best thing at Red Lobster, Cheddar Bay biscuits. That's the
I've
best
only
appetizer.
eaten-
Like,
I've only eaten at Red Lobster one time in my whole life.
Yeah, I don't think I've eaten there like ever. I made the biscuits one time.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
I've-
like at
I've
your
used to
house.
Yeah, the
because-
biscuits
because
that
my
make at home
mom really
biscuits.
likes seafood,
Yeah.
and the rest of my
Mhm.
family likes seafood. So we would go to Red
So
Lobster.
you get clowned on.
Definitely more with my grandparents. And I wouldn't even get chicken tenders. I wouldn't order anything. I would just eat the biscuits. They are so. If I went to Red Lobster right now, I would do the same thing though.
The waiter comes around to you. Your mom says, "Don't worry about him. Just keep bringing us biscuit."
Yeah, dude, those biscuits, they are so good. They are the best like pre-meal at a restaurant.
They're good.
A contender is Monty D's chips and salsa. Only if the chips are like fresh out the fryer though.
Mhm.
Once they've cooled off a
Yeah.
little bit and sat out, Cheddar Bay all the way. If anyone says Olive Garden breadsticks,
That's weird.
Ew, bro. Those are nasty,
overly
bro.
salty, chewy, overrated. Cheddar Bay biscuit,
Yeah,
light,
that's-
fluffy.
Oh,
The
Well,
salad
which
is
is
so
so
much
good.
better. Like the salad is
Promise
the
ring?
the good part of Olive Garden to me. The dressing is just so good.
The older I've gotten, the more
the
I've
soup
liked
is really
the
good,
Olive Garden
too.
salad.
hmm
the soup is really good.
The soup
too.
is good.
I've only
The
eaten
chicken
that
Well,
once,
but
but I
The
really
soup.
like
Oh, I think I have had that.
No.
That was pretty good. But don't you
I-
have to
I've
like
had, like-
order that?
I had,
The
like, the
salad
kale-
just shows up, right?
I like this like kale soup, which is pretty
Oh,
good.
okay.
Oh,
You can
I've
you can
had
swap
that.
out the
Okay,
salad
it,
for
it was not
soup.
but then like if
Yeah,
you
you
get
can.
some of the salad, they slap your wrist if you come by. Like,
Well, not if somebody else gets the salad. Then you just get a little.
Yeah.
does it come in sizes or does it only come in like the big?
I think they
bowl?
only give you the big bowl. So like somebody else gets the salad, you get the soup,
Oh.
and then you just eat a little bit of the salad.
So if one person gets salad and everyone else gets soup, then they still just give you an ass ton of salad.
I don't know, man. I haven't been to Olive Garden in years.
Yeah, it's overrated as a whole. Macaroni
Of
Grill
course,
was
yeah.
better.
An
But
ass ton of.
The one in Winston mysteriously closed down suddenly.
True,
So
it was mysterious.
they had rosemary bread.
Phew.
That shit went hard too.
I stand by. Out of all of those chain restaurants, Chili's. Chili's is the way to go. Get the
It's
Chili's is
get
pretty
the
good.
It's
chips
pretty
and
good.
skillet
Chili's is
queso
really
with
good.
that salsa.
the chips
Phew.
and salsa at Chili's goes hard.
Mhm.
That shit goes hard for sure.
Yes, sir.
I guess I'll sum up my points on this album, and we can go ahead and rate it.
Yeah.
I really like Why Do I Keep Counting? I think it's a very, as good as Sam's Town is as like an intro. I know that there's the interlude and the exitlude, but I think more of like Sam's Town's the intro. Why Do I Keep Counting is the outro.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it as an outro piece. It kind of it touches on the themes that have been throughout the song in just lines at a time though. And the Help Me Get Down part is so good.
I took one last good look around. I gotta get my feet on the ground. Help me get down, I can make it. Help me get down, I can make it. Help me get down, help me get down, I can make it. Help me get down if I
I feel that shit every time. Especially the later on one where all the backing tracks cut out and it's just his voice, kind of like the ad lib you were talking about in the other song, but a little different because it's a whole line, and then everything
it sounds
comes
like
back in at once.
he's just talking a little bit, like his voice starts to crack, and he says like, "Help me get down, I can make it. Help me get," and then all the stuff comes back in.
Yeah, it's really good. Also, some food for thought, bro. If our days are numbered, why do we keep counting?
Oh,
Yeah. Oof. Bro,
I think that is just a phenomenal, let it marinate a little bit. I think that's so. I think it's a very cool, poignant line.
mm-hmm.
Like why get caught up in the counting of the numbered days instead of getting caught up in that, just live the ones that are left to their fullest extent, and then the number doesn't matter as much.
That makes sense.
I'm like, fuck. He's saying some shit.
He do.
And I enjoy the interlude and the exitlude. I think, you either think it's cringe or you think it's cool, and I think it's cool. I like the breaking of the fourth wall to then speak to the listener, fully address the listener and be like, we hope you enjoyed the show, as in one side of that would be hope you enjoyed the album because we're a band and we need to make money off that. But also we hope you enjoyed the show, as in looking at the story of life that's been told throughout, the 9 tracks between the two, betwixt. I think it's really cool. I really like it. It's, I can't think of another example of just a band fully breaking the fourth wall to be like, thank you for listening. Hope you liked it.
Yeah.
I still remember,
I don't think
you guys know the guy who did Cooler Than Me? And
Mike Posner?
Yeah.
it might be cool.
I remember
that one.
he came out with a new song that he recorded, with a new album a year or two ago that he recorded about, he walked across the United States.
I forgot he did that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And the first song is 45 seconds of him saying if you don't have the full time to listen to this album, just don't listen all the way through.
Yeah.
And I heard that and I was like, okay, and I just turned it off.
You don't stop listening. That shit was so funny. He said, all right.
Wait, that's hilarious. They said, I mean, all right.
That's the
if you ain't gonna respect the whole thing, don't listen. Okay. See ya.
Deal.
Bye, bud.
You said it. You said it.
Thanks for letting me off. Not wasting 40 minutes of my time. Yeah. But I still think that there's insight that can be gathered from the exitlude, where the lines of "We've seen it all, bonfires of trust, flash floods of pain. It doesn't really matter. Don't you worry, it'll all work out." And that's not talking about the album. That's talking about in life, you see good, you see bad, but ultimately, it'll work out. So don't stress. Something will happen. It will work out in one way or another. And I was like, interesting. Food for thought, you know. I'm just eating. My brain's eating. All this.
My brain said thank you.
My brain said, grassy ass.
Appreciate that.
My brain said, grassy ass.
Oh.
Grassy ass.
Yeah, so do we wanna slap a number? Or I guess, do you guys have any final thoughts first?
I don't.
Not particularly. I mean, in some of the interviews I listened to today, he talks about how he, being Brandon, the guy who, like, the singer, the guy who writes or co-writes pretty much every song, he said that starting with their 2017 album, Wonderful, Wonderful, he just felt like it wasn't as easy to, like, make up scenarios to write about anymore. Like, he had to write about, like, internal conflicts and things that were going on in his life. It was just like some switch flipped. So it's interesting to think that a lot of these scenarios, he was pulling from personal experience, but also he was kind of like
creating,
creating, not fabricating or glamorizing, but like that, like they might not have all been authentic experiences and emotions for him, but they're also well articulated. It's still very impressive, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
But that's pretty much it.
So I guess
I have a much greater appreciation for the band after this week. Thank you for the pick, Jamie.
You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Jamie. I love.
Yes, Jordan actually loves this band. They're his new favorite band. A new favorite genre of music.
Yeah, well, I guess I'll start, and then Nick, you go, and Jordan, you can tell us what we're going to be listening to next week. I'm going to give this one a 9 out of 10. I really like it. I think this one a lot.
Okay,
nice. I'm going to give her. I'm going to give it a 7.
7, okay. And then Jordan, what will you give it?
I will give it a 3.
My hand was already hovering.
I'm sorry. I just really don't.
You
like
don't have to
apologize,
but we understand.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
I know. I just feel bad for giving like a really.
Now we've learned the thing that you. The real question is, do you hate synth rock or country music more?
Well, he doesn't hate country music. Honestly, he hates country accents.
True.
That is true.
All right, and that ties it for 28th with Sound and Fury. Oh, actually, it's a lot. Okay, no, it doesn't. Sound and Fury is 27th. My bad. It's tied with Yes Lord and Stories Don't End for the 28th position at 6.33.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So Jordan, what are we going to be listening to next week?
It's another album I haven't listened to yet. Ooh. It's called Circles by Mac Miller.
Oh,
okay. Nick's gonna go dummy.
I heard the song Good News, and I really, really liked it. And again, it's one of those albums where I heard one song and I want to hear the rest of the album now. Plus, that album I just glanced over before, and it's really, really popular. So
which one? Okay, I don't know this one. I don't think.
It's called Circles by Mac Miller.
Well, okay, yeah, thanks.
So we're doing the standard version, not the deluxe version. The deluxe only has 2 extra songs, but
okay.
I was just making sure.
Yeah, I'm fine doing the regular version.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Yeah, I know stuff off of is it Ladders? What's the name of the album?
That's Swimming.
Okay, I know stuff off that one, but I don't know this one, so that'll be interesting. All right.
Interesting.
Then I guess very quickly, because we're already at 59. What have we been listening to this week?
Well, since I said I guess I'll go first. And then I don't even have it.
It's Woo Wednesday.
I thought it is Woo Wednesday. Wait, what?
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
It's Woo Tuesday.
You got me. So I've been listening to like Good News by Mac Miller. New song called, it's not new, but it's Molly by Tyga.
Okay.
Wiz Khalifa. I think it's a really old older album. I found this new song called Far Rockaway by Kamau. It's Kamau. I don't really know it. That's been like one of my favorite songs right now. Like since it was really sunny recently, it like went with the vibes so well.
But I get what
of
you
it
mean.
being just like nice
For sure.
outside. I'm starting to listen to like that more like upbeat, like cruising type music, you know,
Absolutely.
because it's so it's so good.
The new Brent Faiyaz song with Tyler the Creator, it's really good. I think it's called Gravity. I've heard it on TikToks,
Gravity.
and yeah, it's a cover. Yeah, but
Gravy.
like I didn't know it was that song. I saw that song came out, and I like listened to a little bit of it, and I was like, oh, that's all right. And then it kind of blew up, and I knew the song, but I didn't associate it with the name. It was a weird thing. But then I saw it, and I played it again, and I was like, oh, wow, I'm just stupid. But yeah, was that it for you, Jordan? Did I interrupt you?
Yeah, no, sorry, that was it.
Gotcha.
That was it.
I'm excited for Circles next week. I haven't listened to it in forever. I was honestly really surprised whenever Mac Miller was like my fourth most listened to artist last year, because I hadn't listened to him in a while, but he just kind of comes up in rotation every now and then now. But I did used to be into him.
I got you.
But this week I found a dude named Trey Burt, who's signed to John Prine, who passed away last year. John Prine's record label, who, if you don't, you probably don't know Jordan, but he was like, I didn't know who he was until like later in his life. But Jason Isbell, who Jamie loves and I love him too, but that we did like Southeastern for. John Prine was like a big inspiration for him, and he was an inspiration for a lot of like contemporary Americana, like leftist country singers, just because they say like they loved his songwriting and stuff. His songwriting and like just like his way of thinking about life. And then he died from COVID last year. But that's like that's a whole like, that's just a sidetrack. Trey Burt is signed to his label, and I found his album based off of a song that just came up on a playlist this week, and I really enjoyed it. And
Yeah, you were telling me I liked it. I also checked it out. You were telling me about him the other day.
Cool. Also on a little bit of a Isbell kick, some Avett Brothers, a dude named Raylan Baxter, who I've liked for a little while, who actually has a cover album of like 5 songs on Swimming on Mac Miller's like second newest album. But he's not like a hip hop artist. They're just like, they're kind of like contemporary folk covers a little bit.
Oh, cool.
But yeah. And that's pretty much it.
I gotcha. Yeah, I've probably, I don't know, I haven't listened, I can't think of anything too specific, but I've been listening to just in general, like Jordan said, with the nice weather. I was listening to more like, I guess, feel good, but not in like easy listening oldies radio sense of feel good music, but just stuff that feels good to me. Probably more like pop and rap thrown in there. Just kind of like, just going with the weather, you know. Although I have been listening to 7 Plus Mary, the Rainbow Kitten Surprise album, a lot. I don't know. It keeps showing up on my like jump back in on Spotify, and I go, yeah,
I'll jump
back
in.
Yeah. Same thing with Beauty Behind the Madness by The Weeknd.
Oh yeah.
Don't know why, but yeah, I don't know. I've just been enjoying listening to like more upbeat stuff, like La 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 by Y2K and the other person who's in that song.
Wait, sing that one real quick.
Da da ba da 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 go.
Oh,
Yeah, that one.
that one.
Yeah, dude, that song is
That's what
so
I thought
good.
you were
I love
talking
that
about.
song.
When I popped out,
Cocaine
then you
Jesus.
gave me just a little bit of luck.
Good.
Or not Cocaine Jesus. That's RKS. That's a good one. But I've been listening to Modern Jesus by Portugal the Man. I like that one a lot.
Oh yeah.
So just kind of like that general, if I see a daily mix that has like those artists, I'll listen to that. Just kind of been feeling the sunny feel good. I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt 2 days in a row. Oh,
Crazy.
Dang, I
Living
know.
life.
Those 2 perfect
it was
days
so
we had.
good.
I was
It
like,
was not too hot. I wore in the morning. When I took Leo on his morning walk, had on a sweater and some shorts, and then later on took the sweater off. Oh, glorious, chef's kiss. But yeah, I guess with that, we can put another one in the bag.
In the books.
I don't think that's how you end it.
No, the book closed. Yeah, we want to say thanks again. I always say again. I got to take that out. That doesn't make any sense. Wanted to say thanks for listening this week. Remember to tune in next week where we're going to be taking a look at Circles by Mac Miller. Expect a pretty good Nick note section. And also be sure to check it out so you can have your own thoughts and mentally join in the discussion with us. You can also actually join in the discussion by leaving a comment on YouTube, or you can also tweet your thoughts at us. We're on Twitter at @ListUpPodcast, and that account, as well as all of our personal handles, are going to be in the description of wherever you found this episode. We also asked that if you enjoyed this episode, drop a rating or a review on your respective platform. It helps us out, and then it can also help you out, because then if we get more listeners, you're not a weirdo who is one of 5 people who listen to us talk. So think about that. And for now, we'll catch you next week, and remember to listen up.